Good morning, Jackie. Hope you're well this morning. A little bit cooler this morning. Only a bit though, I suppose. And then we'll see how things are. And Bissy, morning Bissy, Karen and Chiara out in Italy. And Beata, morning Beata. A few in this morning then already, that's good. We'll just give it a couple of minutes. So please, for those that are regular, put in the chat if you're new to this session, if this is your first session. It is the last one with Active Newham, but you're still all very welcome. And if you're new, and if you are new and not in Newham, then just let us know where in the world you are. And if you have any issues today, if you have any little niggles, any little tightness, or if you have any pre-existing medical conditions or injuries, please put it in the chat, so I'm just aware. And yes, as I say, this is the last one with Active Newham. I'm carrying on my sessions. I have my outdoor sessions with Active Newham and my own sessions, and I'm still zooming a few sessions because I have clients kind of all over the country now, so they can't physically get to me, but they can join in on Zoom. And I've also started in Newham the This Girl Can sessions, which are a mix of dance fitness, box fitness, yoga, Pilates, tone. So if anybody is looking to get out in Newham, they're all very, very socially distanced. I'm only taking 6 at the moment in each of my classes to make sure that everybody's got lots of space and feels comfortable. I can take more than that. The rooms will allow more than that, but at the moment, just to make everybody feel comfortable, I'm starting for the next few weeks again while we're still in restricted measures with the 6. So if you want to join me on any of those, then let me know. So we'll start. I think we've got 8, maybe 9 in, 7 in. Yeah, Mary's come in. Morning, Mary. Oh, and Jane. Morning, Jane. Excellent. Okay. Oh, they're all coming in. Ooh, we're going to have a great last session. A few more in. Excellent. Euclid this morning. So this is the last one with Active Newham, but yeah, like I say, there are lots of options, and I am encouraging people to try and get out. So even if you go on a social walk, one of Active Newham's social walks, or come to one of my park classes, or if you're brave, feeling brave, come to one of the indoor classes. Yeah, do try and get back out there. Cool. Okay, anyway, let's start standing up. So come into a standing position, and reminder as well that if you're going to do the whole class standing, or you want to do any of it seated on a chair, just again put a little message in the chat so that I know that that is what you're doing. Otherwise, we will do a little bit of mat-based work today, as it's the last one. So coming up to stand, just feet hip width apart, and just find your focus with your feet to begin with. So feet hip width apart, and just rocking gently backwards and forwards and side to side, just finding your balance, testing your balance. And then draw the toes up, spread them, place them all the way back down. And then think about lifting up through your legs. So bend the knees, just a little soft knees, but pushing out on that little toe, just rotating the knees outwards a little rather than inwards, feeling that strength up into the belly, pulling up, zipping up, pulling belly button towards spine, and then start to just circle the shoulders. So lifting through the crown of the head, chin looking forwards, and just circling those shoulders. Good. So hopefully everybody's feeling a little cooler today. Has cooled down a little bit with all that rain last night. Managed not to get wet. I'm hoping it won't rain while I get out from my park session this morning. It did put a bit of a dampener on my one-to-ones yesterday. We did end up Zooming, but the powers of Zoom that I didn't have to cancel it completely. Good. And then take hands to shoulders and circle those elbows. So I'm starting to feel maybe a little bit more open in the elbows and the shoulders. Last one. And then release the arms down, circle the shoulders the opposite way, circle them forwards. So remembering this is a good general one to do in the morning, even if you're not doing a Pilates session or another fitness session, just coming into the shoulders, moving the shoulders. One more, release down, and then just drop the chin down to the chest, breathe out. Come back up to the center. Take it gently to one side. Come back to the center. Down in the center, breathe out. Back to the center. Opposite side. Come back. And again, one more. Come back and gently to one side. So some of you will know that over lockdown especially, I've been taking my own fitness a little bit more seriously and trying to do some of my exercises, these mobility exercises every day. We're going to come to a gentle little squat just for the hips. And I've also been doing the trigger point Pilates, which is aimed at releasing the fascia. And I went for a routine hospital appointment on Monday and they measured me and apparently I'm 2 inches taller. I was like, oh my gosh, how not now? So I actually do think that that's partly down to the mobility sessions and the trigger point. But I did have an accident at 17 that I think probably did compact my spine, and I didn't completely realise that at the time. And that everything has come back into more of an alignment and traction. So it is always worth spending that time and investing in your own health. Come back up, take a side bend. So breathing out, coming down to the side and coming all the way back, and the opposite side. And I do know 1 or 2 of you on here today have been investing more in your own health during lockdown and are seeing the benefits. So yeah, for some it has had that major life-changing impact in a more positive way. And I think we just have to sometimes spend the time for ourselves and get to know our bodies again. Sometimes it's that awareness. So just one more side bend on each side. So coming down gently to the side, breathe out, all the way back up. Good, one more. So I'm glad that a lot of you have taken this time with me on Saturday mornings. It's been, I think, maybe 20 weeks now. Take a gentle circle backwards and then float up onto the toes. And I'm hoping that you are feeling the benefits as much as I am. So circle forwards, roll down, gentle roll down, breathing out. And coming all the way back up. Circle shoulders backwards, float up onto the toes. And circle forwards and roll down. So remember on your roll downs, bring the weight forwards. Pull the belly button in. You can come a little lower today if you want to, as long as the back's okay. But remembering that first thing in the morning, even though we've rested that spine overnight, it can still be a little stiff. So taking it gently. Good. One more. Circle forwards. Gentle roll down. Coming all the way back up. Circle shoulders backwards, floating the arms. Good, let's come into the hips. So just taking a knee lift to start with, just lifting through the knees and making sure when you come back down, you're placing that foot back down and you feel balanced. So you don't have to lift it too high if you don't want to, but coming down feeling balanced, and just maybe hands on hips. Just notice what these hips are doing as you lift. Are they trying to shift to one side, or are they keeping fairly stable? Pull in with the core, draw the belly in, try and lift from here rather than shifting the weight and then lifting the leg. So try and use the core, try and draw up, keep the hips nice and stable as you lift. So drawing up and lowering down. Good, now take it out to the side. So we're just going to tap out to the side, tap out to the side. We can take the arms out, just tap out. So again, just moving these hips different directions, just warming them up, and then tap out in front. So tap out in front, just swinging the arms just in front. Good, 2 more. Good, let's come to a leg lift, taking the leg out to the side this time. So opening up with the hips. So if this one's a little too strong, remember you can either just do the knee lift and the leg tap out, that's the option, or you can just take the heel down, keep the heel on the floor and take the knee out. Otherwise, we're going to do 2 more of these nice hip openers. Last one. Coming in. Good, and the opposite side. So I'm doing a walk tomorrow along the Greenway. 11 o'clock, Lisa, I think, yeah, 11 o'clock. If anybody, it's meant to be for pre and postnatal women, but if anybody can't get to one of the other walks that's running during the week, if you're working during the week, working during the week and you want to join a social walk on a Sunday, then get in touch. Just marching through the knees. Good, let's come back to the shoulders. So circle the shoulders back and then circle the arms all the way back. Good, we're going to come down to our roll down into the option of our plank if you want to. So remember, the option is roll down, roll back up, or roll down, walk out into plank, come all the way back up. So gentle circle down, just breathing out. So we're coming down into our plank just to get a little bit of weight on the wrists, and also just to start to focus the core a little bit more. So bring the hands down, weight on the wrists if you can, draw the belly up, and then walk the hands all the way back in, rolling up through the spine. Let's take a squat on the ends. So breathing in, draw up through the core, belly down, coming all the way back up. Good. Take it again. So your options, remember, don't have to come out into that plank. Or if you come out into the plank, you can just hold it for a second and place the knees down if you want to. So you can come into the plank, knees down, take another breath in here, and then come back up into your plank. Walk the hands all the way back in. Roll up through the spine. Nice and slowly circle shoulders back. Take that squat. Good, we'll do 1 more. So rolling forwards, gentle roll down, breathing out. Let the arms relax and release, come all the way forwards. Shoulders over hands, draw the belly in, crown forwards, and then come all the way back in. And knees. Slow roll up this time, stacking each vertebrae over the other, coming all the way back up. Circle shoulders backwards, gentle squat, pulling up through the pelvic floor. Good, come all the way back up. We're going to bring the elbows into the sides of the body. palms facing forwards. So we're going to do our weighted arms, and then we're going to come down onto the ground if you want to, and combine it with a leg drop, so knee drop. So coming here to start, we draw the belly in and keep the elbows into the side of the body, and we're just going to open up that one arm. So we're strengthening through the shoulder a little bit more now. So breathing out, find that openness. So we'll do 5 on one side, 5 on the opposite side. Draw the belly in. 5 on one side, 5 on the opposite side. Good. So remembering that a lot of the traditional Pilates exercises, that is a standing option for them if we need it. And you're going to work the body in almost the same way. So come back to the center, draw both hands out this time, squeezing out, elbows together. Good, 3 more. Squeeze the bottom, draw up through that belly, drawing it into the core. Good, last one. And then circle the shoulders backwards. Noticing how those shoulders feel now. So really thinking you've done most of you done quite a lot of weeks now, those that are on live with me. So just being body aware, being a bit more mindful of how your own body feels. Good. So we're going to come to leg, equivalent standing up of leg slide, and then we're going to come down leg slide on the mat. So we're just going to take the left leg out to start with. So left leg is going to come in front, and our right arm is going to come above our head, and then come back. And then we're going to change. So we're going to slide one leg out, slide the arm up. Doesn't have to come all the way above the head. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed, drawing in through the core. So try and hover the leg off if you can by pulling in. So zipping up into that belly and drawing belly to spine. So just take it out, hover it off, bring it back. Good. We're going to do one more on each side. So slide it out. Oh, and bring it back. Wobbling myself today. Slide it out. Trying to look at the camera and do it at the same time. Good. So we're going to come down onto the mat and do those 2 moves. So we're going to do the weighted arms with the knee drop, which you can do this way if you're standing, and then the leg slide. So roll all the way down onto your mat. Come all the way down onto all fours to begin with. Just take the hands out. Come down onto all fours. And before we come over onto the back, we'll come into cat-cow. So shoulders over hands again, and just rounding through the spine and releasing through the spine. So shoulders in, elbows relaxed, rounding through the spine and releasing through the spine. Good. Sit back onto the heels if you can. Just take a shoulder stretch and then bring the feet round to the front of the room and release yourself down onto the mat. So just lying down onto your mat, bring the arms to the side of the body. Just a gentle engagement with the core. So pulling in with that belly button and finding that neutral spine. So let me show you side on again. So remember, with this neutral spine, we've all got this natural curve in our back. Some have got bigger curve than others, but we want to engage through the pelvic floor and the belly. So pulling up pelvic floor, drawing belly towards spine. So we're more in a neutral position. We're not tilting the pelvis too far up. We're not trying to flatten the back all the way to the ground, but we're trying to just have a nice strong core as we start to move. So as we start to move, we're not making that back more exaggerated with our curve, and we're not trying to keep it flat on the ground. So imagine you've got a triangle on your pelvic area, and you want to try and make sure the triangle stays flat. It's not tilting up or tilting down. You can always do that. Put that triangle on that area and just imagine it flat to start with. So as we're going to start with the legs, place the hands on the bony bits of the hips. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, engage that core. So drawing up pelvic floor, belly button towards spine, and just slowly, really slowly draw that leg out as you breathe out. Feel the length. Take a breath in at the bottom and then breathing out again, pulling in again with that navel, coming back into the center. So we're breathing in wide into the ribs, let everything go. And as you breathe out, draw that navel in, draw up through pelvic floor, slide the leg out. See if you can keep the foot in contact with the floor to begin with. Feel those hips nice and square. And then bring the leg all the way back in. Good. We're going to do one more on each side. Really keep the opposite legs nice and still. So no wobbling through this knee. Keep it nice and still, really pushing down, finding that length. And then breathing it out, coming all the way back. So one more. Good. Then just take the arms today. So keep the feet steady. Let's work with the arms, just the arms. So again, with the arms, you're going to start with the thumb at the side of the body, palm up, palm facing in. We're going to lift that arm all the way over the head, trying to keep the shoulder blade relaxed and reaching towards the back rather than down towards the ground. So try and reach backwards, feel that length, and then come all the way back. So we're just going to do 2 on each side, really focused on the length, focused on keeping this core strong as we take the arm over. So really lengthening, and just notice how each side feels. If there's a difference between left side and right side. And if there's any tension in that shoulder, even if there isn't any pain, is there any tension? Would it go easily over that head, or does it feel a little stuck at any point? When you've done 2 on each side, we're going to alternate arm and leg. So this time you can lift it a little if you want to. So we're going to draw the leg up, lift it off the ground, and then sweep it all the way over, hover the arm over the top, hover the leg out, and then come all the way back in. And you can come up to tabletop if you want to, and then lower back down. So either lifting the leg up, lifting up, sweeping it out, lifting out long, and then bringing it back in or bringing it back up to tabletop before lowering down. So starting to work the core a little. So your choice, lifting, sending it out on the outward breath. So think of the length through the body, coming back in. And lowering down. So this one's lengthening and strengthening across the back, across the muscles of the back. We're taking opposite arm, opposite leg. And we're also working that brain because we are working opposites. It does take a little bit of coordination, a little bit of focus. So 1 more on each side. Just being very mindful still of the movement and the length. Just noticing how each side feels. So this is a good one for strengthening through the back. If you do have any back issues, this is a good one to do. But just that basic one. Not too much pressure on the back, bringing the legs up to tabletop. Good, so let's come to the knee drop. So hip openers, hip stability. So feet flat on the floor, hands on the bony bits of hips, and then just breathe out and let that one knee just drop out to the side. Keep the opposite knee really still, keeping that neutral spine so the spine isn't popping up, and then draw the belly button in, come back to the center. So we'll do 4 on each side. So just allowing that knee to drop out. So breathing out, keeping this nice strong connection with the core. Breathing out, dropping out. Just rolling out on the outside edge of the foot, drawing it all the way back in. And then opposite side. Coming back in. Good. We're going to add the arms in. We did the weight to arms. So bring the elbows down to the side of the body and squeeze them into the ribs. So we're going to do same side to begin with. So find this neutral spine, draw up through the core. As the knee comes out, the arm is going to come out as well. Keep the elbow into the side of the body so you're not taking the arm all the way to the floor. Bring it back to the center, opposite side. So dropping arm and leg out. Arm and leg drop out. Arm and leg come back. Let's do 4 again on each side. So dropping arm and leg out. Keep that elbow squeezed in. If it feels easy and that arm is coming to the ground, just check that you haven't moved that elbow away from the side of the body. Not having a little cheat on a Saturday morning. Just because I can't see you. Good. When you've done your 4 on each side, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock and roll side to side. And then we're going to try and work opposite arm, opposite leg, but starting in tabletop. So bring the right leg down to the ground and put the left leg in tabletop. So make sure that knee's over the hip and elbows again into the side of the body. So this time we're going to drop the left leg out to the side and the right arm out to the side. And then come all the way back. So we do 4 on the same side this time. So left leg drops out, right arm drops out, and then we come all the way back. So again, dropping out, breathing out, noticing how that hip feels. Keeping that core connection, don't allow the back to come any further away from the ground. May want to arch as you come out. And then change sides. So bring the opposite leg up, draw the belly in, coming out, breathing out. So again, as soon as that opposite hip starts to roll or the back starts to arch, draw the belly in and think that's where my leg wants to go. That's only where my leg wants to go. So you're not trying to take the leg to the ground. It's coming out maybe to about 45. Maybe a little bit more if you're flexible, but not at the expense of the back. When you've done 4, if you can, go back to that movement or take both feet off the ground. So if you've got both feet off the ground in tabletop, this time you can alternate. So you come out with one arm, one leg, come back to the center, draw the belly button in, take it the opposite way. Making sure again that both hips stay flat on the ground. You're not rocking and rolling as you're bringing that knee out. So the knee comes out, hips stay still, coming back. And you've done 4 again on each side. Draw the knees into the chest. Gentle roll side to side. And then you can either roll on one side and push yourself up to seated, or take the hands behind the legs and just gently roll backwards and forwards. Make sure you've got lots of momentum and then come up to a seated position. Hope everybody's feeling okay so far. Nobody's gone yet, so that's a good thing. So come into cross-legged and bring the arms to the side of the body. And just take a moment just to resettle everything back down. If the cross leg isn't for you, bring the legs out in front. Just breathe and just release everything out. So before we come any further with our roll downs, we're going to come into our forward fold. So bring the feet out in front. Trying to stretch out these hamstrings to begin with, just a little. So draw the belly in and bring the hands to the side of the body and just point and flex the feet. Just notice how they feel. And then circle the ankles. Circle them one way, circle them the opposite way. And then coming forward. So draw the belly in, think about being long through the spine and just sliding the legs, sliding the hands forwards outside of the legs. So you're not putting pressure on the knees, outside of the legs. Trying to keep the back straight. So we're in this position, we're just leaning forwards and finding at which point the hamstrings and the legs are feeling, yeah, that's okay. And then we're just going to hold it there. We're going to try and relax through the legs. And then if we can, we're going to come a little bit further, not fighting against the body though. Now, when you come a little bit further, think about drawing the belly button in again. So draw that belly button in. That's going to help protect the spine, but also allow you to go a little bit further, hopefully. And then release, give the legs a shake. Good, one more. So draw the belly in, sit nice and tall. And then gently sliding the hands forwards, coming forwards just to where you want to go. And then draw the belly in. You can go a little further, but keep the head lifted. You don't want to drop down through the spine and feel any pressure on the spine. You want to feel this gentle little bit of a stretch, hopefully through the back of the legs in the hamstrings. And then release, give the legs a shake. Good, so bring the knees, bend the knees back up. And we're going to come down into our roll down. So we're going to roll down, and today, if you want to, at the end, we're going to lift the leg. This is why I wanted a little bit of a stretch on the hamstrings first, just so not getting too much tension in there. So bring the arms out in front or hold underneath the legs to start with. Sit up nice and tall. And then as you breathe out, take that gentle curl with the spine. So breathing out. Sitting back onto the sit bones, onto the bottom, and then breathing in, coming all the way back up, nice and strong on the spine at the end. So breathing in, tight, nice, long, straight spine, and then breathing out, rounding through the spine, just tucking the chin in a little. Imagine you've still got that orange underneath your chin. It's not bringing the chin all the way in, it's just tucking in a little. And then breathing in, coming all the way up. Good, so your options are carry on with that move, arms out if you want, come a little lower, take an extra breath at the bottom if you want, so breathe out, take this breath in here, breathe out again, and then breathe in to come back up. So working with that breath to just focus the belly a little bit more, or rolling down, breathing out, rolling in, coming back up, and as you come to the top of your move, lift that leg. So you're getting a little stretch through the hamstring, but strengthen through this core. Come all the way back down. So adding on what you want to add on. If you want a little bit more on this one, lift the leg, lift the arm. So your choices. Do what feels right for your body. Making sure you're working your core, you're working the belly in particular. No pressure on the back. Lifting up, drawing in. Releasing down, working really mindfully. When you need a break, when the back needs a break, just releasing forwards and maybe taking the knees from side to side. Your choice. So if you're still working, we're going to do one more on each side. You need a rest, otherwise take that roll down. Take that extra breath at the end if you want to, breathing in, breathing out. Relax the shoulders and then coming all the way back up. And make this your last one. So choose which one you're going to do. Nice, slow, controlled breath, whichever one you're doing. And coming all the way back up. Good. Come and release through the spine. So just releasing forwards. And then legs come side to side. Just gently side to side. Good. So let's come over onto the front now, onto the belly. Now, if you're standing or seated and you don't want to come down onto the belly, got an alternative for you. So you can just keep standing or seated with the arms in this position and squeezing the belly and squeezing the bottom under, and you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back like this. So this is your option if you don't want to come down onto the belly today. And we're also going to do this one. We're going to squeeze back this way. So 2 options if you're standing or seated. If you're coming down onto the mat, come down onto the mat. We're going to start with that second one. So we're going to start with the arms down by the side of the body, palms facing upwards. Nose down on the ground and keep the feet nice and wide at the back so the hips are down. So to start with, we're going to keep the backs of the hands on the floor if we're down in this position. And we're just going to try and squeeze the shoulder blades up. So keep the backs of the hands down and see if you can just squeeze your shoulder blades up off the ground and then release. So you're not lifting the head, nose stays just near the ground, hands down, and you're just squeezing the shoulder blades back. We're going to do 6 and we're going to do 3 sets. So if you're standing or seated, you're just going to squeeze back and come forward. So squeeze back and come forwards. So it's just this movement. You're squeezing the shoulder blades together and releasing. So shoulder blades and release. Good. When you've done your 6, bring the hands underneath the head if you're lying down. Turn your head to one side. Just release the neck. If you're seated, just turn the head to one side. Just releasing out. Take a nice couple of breaths. And then we're going to do another set of those. So bring the hands again into whichever position you're in. Nose just on the ground, feet down. So just squeezing the shoulder blades to begin with. So squeeze up shoulder blades and then release. Now, if that feels okay and you're managing to squeeze the shoulder blades and you really know that that's what you're doing, you can squeeze the shoulder blades up first and then count to 4, and on the 4th breath, lift the hands and lift the body. But only if you can really feel those shoulder blades moving to start with. So squeezing up for 3, squeeze the bottom and then lift. And then release back down. If you need to have a look, come up to seated and look. So squeeze for 3 and then lift. Relaxing the shoulders back down all the way in between. Squeeze and lift. Again, when you've done 6, hands underneath the head. Turn the head to one side. And then we're going to do one more set. So this time again, take your choice. Make sure you're squeezing the shoulders first. So squeezing up, squeeze the bottom, lift and release. Make sure there's no pressure in the neck. So you're not tilting the head back. You're just squeezing up, and as you squeeze up, the head comes up at the same time. If you're seated, just squeezing back. Good. And then when you've done the last one, hands underneath the head. Turn the head to that side that felt a little bit maybe tighter or a little bit more awkward. Turn it to that side if there is one. Neck feels both sides even. Just turn it to whichever side you want to. And then we're going to come into this wide W shape and lift the arms up. So again, with this one, you can just take one arm back, or you can take both arms back. So again, if you're not familiar with this one, come up to seated, have a little look first. So feet wide at the back this time. Take the feet wide to the edges of your mat or your towel at the back. Make sure the hips stay down. Arms in that nice wide shape. Head down on the ground. And we're just going to lift the elbows and the hands at the same rate. So trying to lift elbows and hands up, squeezing up through the body, and then lowering back down. Show you from this side. So hands in that nice wide shape, and then squeezing up and lowering down. So if that's too strong, you can just do the one side. So you can just lift the one arm and lower it back down, and alternate and lift the opposite arm and lower down. And then if you want to, you can lift both arms in the middle. So your choice how you're doing. We're going to do 6 on each side at least. 6 on each side, or 6 of together. And then again, when you need to rest, hands underneath the head, turn the head to one side, just release everything down. So starting to open up a little bit more in the chest and strengthening again in the back. Try and pull the belly button just a little bit in off the ground. So think about squeezing the bottom as you lift, but also trying to draw the belly button in. So you're not allowing the whole of the belly to sink into the ground. Just trying to keep that core strong. Let's go again if we've had a rest. So you're either going to do 6 more or 6 on each side. So your choice. So lifting up. So breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. So breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Breathing out to lift and breathing to lower. Good. 3 more at least. And then again, bring the hands underneath the head, turn the head to one side and just release and relax. Good. And we're going to finish off with our nice child's pose stretch, or our thread the needle. So place the hands underneath the shoulders, press all the way back. Now, if you can come into child's pose, feet wide, knees wide, and get the bottom down on the ground, come into this position. If that's a struggle or the bottom doesn't want to go down, come into the all 4-point knee lift. So your choice. We're going to do the thread the needle in either position, whichever works for you. So if you're in the 4-point kneeling, we're going to take that right arm. We're going to thread it all the way underneath, twisting through the spine, trying to get the shoulder down towards the ground, head on the ground and relax. If you're in the child's pose, take the knees out wide. Same thing. You're just going to thread through. Try and bring the shoulder towards the ground, head towards the ground. And today, just take a couple of breaths there. Try and relax everything as you breathe. Breathing in, breathing out, relaxing the belly in that position. And then coming all the way back to whichever position you're in. And then threading through to the other side. So breathing in, breathing out, just releasing out. You have the option, remember, of sliding that front arm forwards and rotating the shoulder down to the ground. And then coming all the way back in. Good. So we're going to do 3 on each side. So threading through, gently through, breathing in, breathing out. Allowing those shoulders just to really release after that strengthening through the back. Allow those shoulders to just have a gentle stretch. Good. So one more on each side. In, breathing out. And then if you're in your child's pose and you want to stay here, bring the hands round to the back, head down, or hands underneath the head, and just come into a releasing, relaxing pose. You're on your all fours and it's not comfortable in that position. Bring the feet round to the front, feet hip width apart. Draw the knees together and roll down onto the back, hands on belly. So it's come into a relaxing position and just take 5 breaths. So your choice. You're comfortable in your child's pose, stay in your child's pose. If not, come round to the front, bring the knees together, hands on belly. And again, just take 5 breaths here. So breathing in, breathing out. Just allowing the mind to settle, allowing the body to settle. And then whichever position you're in, just ease yourself into a flat lying position if you can, if that's comfortable for the back. And take a stretch, so take an arms overhead, take a full body stretch. Just take again a breath in and a breath out. Just in that stretch. And then draw the knees slowly in into a hug. You might want to hug one knee in, and then you might want to hug the other knee in, or just both knees at the same time. Just take a hug. And again, if it feels good, you can lift the chin off the ground, bring the nose towards the knees. And then slowly roll over to one side. And come back up to that seated position. Whichever's comfortable for you. Bring the hands together, create a little bit of warmth between the hands. Just rub those hands. And today we're going to place them either over the eyes or the ears, just to get a little bit of energy into that area. Sometimes, especially at the moment, we see things differently, we hear things, and just take what we hear differently. So just give your eyes or your ears a little bit of freshness, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of energy. And then if your eyes are still closed, open your eyes up, take a stretch, breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Circle the shoulders backwards. Notice how they feel now at the end of class, as opposed to how they felt at the beginning of class. And tuck the chin down, breathing out, lifting up. Turn it gently to one side. Notice if it has that little bit of extra mobility now, or just feels more mobile, more stronger. Draw it back up, opposite side. Breathing out. Breathing in. Good. Thank you very much, everybody. So if you have any questions, please put them in. If you want to get in touch, I'm at www.fit2relax.london, or you can email me, obviously. I'll put it in the group chat. So, and if you want to, obviously Active Newham have got all your information. So they will get in touch if we start any other activities. And Lisa has put the information in the chat about the social walk tomorrow. So again, if anybody does fancy, if they're in Newham, obviously, Chiara, unfortunately, you can't join us from Italy unless you come over to the UK at some time, at which point, obviously, you're welcome to come to any of our sessions. But otherwise, thank you so much for everybody that's joined me over the last few months, and I do hope to see some of you at my classes. So again, if you want to try one of my Zoom classes, then do get in touch. You can have a look at my Zoom ones. You can obviously access those from anywhere in the world, as I said. But yeah, if you want to try a Zoom one, then get in touch. Otherwise, good luck with everything. If I come to Italy, call you. Yeah, I will, Chiara. And Lisa as well, obviously. Yeah, I would love to come back to Italy at some point. So that'll be good. Cool. Okay, like, take care. Keep in touch if you want to. You have my email address. So hopefully I'll see some of